Hey guys, welcome to today's video. This one's a little bit different. This is what we call chiropractic straight talk, and it's what needs fixing in our industry. I want to get to know you guys a little bit better. What brought you into this industry? What are you passionate about? Why are you passionate about chiropractic? I would love for you to comment below. I'd love to get to know you. I'm here for you. I'm here to serve you, to bring you the information you need to scale and be successful in changing patients' lives. But our industry's changing. I don't know if you've noticed this. Now, to get to know me a little bit better, you need to understand who I am and where I came from. I grew up in a chiropractic family, and my father, being the executive vice president to David Palmer, actually was the guy who helped Clay Thompson develop the Thompson technique. So as a little kid, I remember going on vacation with Clay Thompson. I remember hearing stories about the Gonstead Clinic. I remember hearing about Dr. Cleveland and the college he was starting, and Dr. Parker, and my dad sitting in board meetings with Dr. Parker. I mean, it was an incredible childhood where I got to play hide and seek in the Palmer Mansion and walk through the koi ponds, and it was magical. And I had no idea what our profession was at the time. I was just this kid in a blissful, magical world that I knew every health problem I had, my dad could take care of it. I had all the confidence in the world that chiropractic would heal me, no matter what ailed me. So in that world, chiropractic has gone through several transitions, everything from chiropractors being put in jail to in the 20s finally being accredited that we were licensed to practice, to growing into a full-blown profession. And finally, my dad got to travel with David Palmer to all of these medical conventions and debate the AMA on why we were qualified to become doctors. And that title, doctor, it means something. To finally get this title of Doctor of Chiropractic was a big deal. And our level of education, understanding what we're qualified to do to become a primary care physician, is a big deal. And we are now the largest holistic healthcare profession out there. We're the third largest provider system out there. So that comes with some responsibility. There's a lot of questions out there still. Is chiropractic safe? Is it effective? All of these things. And there's been literally groundbreaking publications now that we are the most qualified to treat low back pain. I mean, that's a start, right? But in order to move this needle, to actually continue to develop this profession, you've got to understand the state of this profession. Even in my childhood, I remember hearing the stories from my dad about going to the different groups and how divided we were. We've been a very divided profession. I think that's harmed us. I really want to see our profession come together in unity on one thing, and that is utilization. Utilization is what percent of this population is actually using our services to adopt us as their primary care path, that we have the capability to unlock their healing potential. But how is the world going to adopt that without data? And I've got to talk a little bit about data because maybe you don't, but in my world, data is everything. It's why I built technology-based system to gather data. Google's become who they become. Apple's become who they become. Even Tesla's becoming who they're becoming because they have data to show what's working and what's not. If we're going to have publications, if we're going to have data for our chiropractic researchers, we can't be limited to the small amount of data that exists in the insurance databases. Because quite honestly, they're using that data against us to reduce utilization, to deny payments, to try to reduce what they're paying so that they can pay their shareholders. Well, that brings me to the next point, that if shareholders drive agendas and shape professions, you got to understand what's happened to the rest of the healthcare profession out there, whether it's medical, dental, the two top largest healthcare professions, chiropractic then being the third. If they are being shaped by something called corporate healthcare, you see the medical model dramatically shifted from these individual family practices to now being owned by these big corporate healthcare organizations that were financial investments. They were private equity money coming in, recognizing that, man, if we could invest in healthcare, we could grow our bottom line. Well, as soon as you get, bottom line in there, we start seeing agendas. This has happened with big pharma. This has happened with vaccines. This is a big deal. So we need to recognize that if medical shifted and that the same organizations that own the hospitals now own the private practitioners, now being packaged into groups, the same thing happened about 18 years ago in dental. Corporation came in, they began consolidating the market. They began packaging practices up underneath an umbrella of a managed service organization. And we had the first $1 billion valued dental organization just about 6-7 years ago. That same organization is now worth almost $2 billion. So corporate healthcare has now moved into chiropractic, a very segmented profession. And so it's been slower to get here. They even questioned, does PE money come into chiropractic healthcare because are there really profits there? But there's now models out there that are proving it. You've seen one of the franchises probably on a corner near you. It's here, guys. It's here, and you need to understand what this means to our profession, because corporate healthcare has the power to shape. When you build a big enough organization, it develops gravity. It has influence, and it can go one of two ways. It can be very price-driven, where it's driving the price down. Well, that does create some accessibility. That's a good thing, right? But what happens to quality? What happens to impact on the patient? Are our services being used to the equivalent of an Advil or Tylenol? Or are we using chiropractic to its fullest potential to unlock healing? Well, I have to champion some of our other corporate umbrellas in chiropractic. I just spent the weekend at Chiro One with our Octo Inner Circle, where we sat down and watched their journey. They have built an incredible training system. They're shaping their practices to truly deliver high quality healthcare and are shaping our profession in a very positive way. I question others that are going to come into our profession because it's going to happen. It's at this point inevitable. It's happened in other professions. It's happening here. And the question is are there going to be others that come in with their own agenda? We're all already seeing the electronic health records companies being gobbled up by PE money, and very now not what's best for the chiropractor, it's what's best for their bottom line. And this is why this is the straight talk. What needs fixing in our industry? This is part of my passion, my purpose of what I'm doing in the chiropractic profession as a chiropractor. I want to be involved in this. I want to be very aware of what's happening. In fact, I've been very blessed to be on the Chiropractic Technology Board with some of the most unbelievable non-agenda. Well, I shouldn't say that. They do have an agenda, but it's your agenda. What's best for you as a chiropractor? Chiropractors making decisions for our profession, trying to help and standardize data. Well, because I have a data company, we are now trying to gather data to help you really begin to prove your patient outcomes. Imagine that. Imagine a data standardization where data wasn't fragmented. Data wasn't just living on your server inside some closet in your practice. Imagine that data coming up into the cloud. Imagine a data lake where we could analyze that data across the trends and not only look at production and collection and billing data, we could actually start standardizing data about patient incomes and patient outcomes using some of the forms that measure function that we can standardize and start to correlate, where patients could opt in and say, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of proving the chiropractic model is the best model of healthcare. Imagine taking that data to our insurance companies to not reduce our utilization, but show that this utilization actually increases function, decreases surgeries, decreases the need to be on multiple medications. The gold for our profession is in our data. And somebody has to step up and make sure that the agenda is what's best for the profession, and make sure our data is now to a place where it's standardized and accessible for our chiropractic researchers. If you think that this is a good idea, I would love for you to comment below. I would love for you to share your comments below. What agendas do you think exist in our profession? Where are some of those agendas coming from? I guess it really comes down to, will you be able to trust me? Will you know me? Will you support me? And this, leading this profession and bringing our data together to prove this model, to turn this number 3 leader in healthcare to become number 1. That is my mission. That is my purpose. And if you like this, comment below. Like this channel, share this video. Let our community know that there is somebody who has your back. I'm Dr. Cory Frogley. Be a part of this community.